Yeah, so good to have you with us today. And so, as you know, we're going to now go into, I was going to jump ahead because I'm so excited about the service, but now we're going to go into our opening meditation and prayer. So, I invite you to get comfortable in your seat, take a deep breath in, deep breath of love and gratitude. Exhale everything that came before this moment. And another deep breath in. And exhaling, allow all your cares and worries to float away. And let us imagine a small ball of bright white light rotating clockwise in the center of your chest. This ball of light is about the size of a tennis ball, and as you place your attention on it, it begins to expand. This beautiful white light filling your chest, flowing up past your shoulders into your neck and filling your head. White light flowing down your arms, into your hands and fingers. And as you continue to breathe and relax, the white light continues to flow. It fills your torso, moves down into your hips, into your legs, filling your thighs, your knees, your calves, your ankles, feet, and toes. Your entire physical body is one with this light. Every bone, every muscle, every organ, every cell, atom, and electron of your being soaked and saturated in this beautiful, brilliant white light. This light is restorative, it's rejuvenating, it raises your vibration to its natural state, the high frequency of divine love. And just take a moment to feel the effects of this light on your body. The light continues to expand beyond the body into the auric field, creating an orb of light 3 feet all around you. You're encapsulated in this beautiful, healing white light. And the light continues to expand, filling the room you're in, cleansing and clearing away anything that is unlike love and lifting everything up. And this light can't be contained in the space. It fills the building you're in and floods out onto the street, uniting all of the people on the street, flowing through your neighborhood, expanding, continuing to expand through the town you're in, the state you're in, the continent, seeping into the ocean and instantaneously enveloping the entire planet, uniting every living being. Collectively, we see the planet surrounded and enfolded in this light. And we remember, we recognize our oneness with each other and with all of life. Let's just take a couple of minutes in silence to breathe in the light and send love and healing to ourselves and to the entire world. Mother, Father, God, divine love, all that there is. We are so grateful, so thankful to join together right here, right now, as Inspire Spiritual Community. So grateful for our commitment to celebrate love, to share love and peace and healing with ourselves, with each other, and with all of life. How good it is to recognize the truth of who and what we are, divine beings of love and light. So we open ourselves up to the perfect service. We bless this service and we know that it is exactly as it should be. The perfect configurations of souls have joined together to share this message, to receive and give. We are so grateful and so blessed. And so we just let go. We place on the altar any concerns, any worries, any fears or doubts, anything that's been troubling us, anything that feels like a heavy burden. We set it down and we open ourselves to the fullness of God's love as our life. We open ourselves to divine wisdom, divine guidance, to connection, to love, to joy, to peace, to revealing our true and authentic nature and sharing it with everyone. We know that Spirit speaks through us and as us, that this service is blessed, and every participant here, every member of our community, every member of our family on this planet is blessed, and we are so grateful to share with everyone the benefits of our time together, our healing, and our expansion. With grace and gratitude, we release this word, we allow it to be, and so it is. Amen. And so today we have a special treat because it is the last day of Black History Month, which I am a fan of celebrating all the time, not just in February. But we have Annis Cassells, my mom, is going to join us to read a poem. So please welcome Annis Cassells.
Thank you, Amina, and thank you, everyone. I was so pleased to be invited to read a poem today in celebration and honor of Black History Month. Today, I'm going to read a poem by Ronald Montgomery, and Ronald was the is the person who inspired and spearheaded the publication. Spearheaded our. I'm getting some noise. Am I okay? All right, thank you. Anyway, this poem is by Ronald Montgomery and it's called Good Trouble in memory of Congressman John Lewis. Today we sat at Greyhound, all together, waiting like all the days before, waiting on justice to arrive. Seems like she was elsewhere bound. Yesterday we walked the airport perimeter on runways, cold tarmac in view of heated minds, signs held high while flights were rerouted, delayed, and canceled. She rescheduled. The day before, we balanced on riverfront cobblestones, kept hope alive while the Becky Thatcher sailed to and fro, looking bored. But no justice was on the manifest that day, just us on parade. Back in the 20th century, we hoped she'd be on local buses, garbage trucks, and at lunch counters, though not on the menu. To walk in black and white picket lines back then. Sometime in 65, she arrived on time. Tomorrow, we'll wait hand in hand on equality, hoping he'll show with a ticket for court's justices in tow. No guarantees that he'll show up at all, but there is always hope. Work together, walk together, talk together, and sitting close. We will capture the intention and attentions of justice and equality by any means necessary, in any measure. When our freedom ride shares are done, we'll come home. The terminals will be empty. Justice and equality will be too busy for out-of-town trips, making Minneapolis, St. Louis, and Dallas the new Plymouth Rocks for every shade and Liberty Bells for every voice. We will answer the questions with no hesitation. If not us, who? It is us in all colors, not them. Come on, diversity. If not now, when? It is now, not when. Patience is no longer the answer. If not here, where? Here is where we begin, not there. This is my home. Today we work together, not just us, justice now, right here and right now, together. Community, the wait is over. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you, Annis, and thank you, Ron Montgomery. And Mom, will you put the book website in the chat, please?
Sure.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
All right. So now it's my pleasure to welcome Reverend Tom Hennessey to give our mission statement. Reverend Tom?
Okay. Good morning, everybody. Our mission statement, Inspire is a spiritual community of like-minded souls committed to walking our talk in joyous fellowship by demonstrating the power of love, compassion, and non-judgment every day in every way. Recognizing the divinity of all life, we stand united by actively liberating humanity by healing judgment, fear, and shame within ourselves. Our intention to create world peace, piece by piece. Whoa-ho! Okay, now it is my pleasure to welcome one of our own service committee members and our own member, Casey Carroll. She is doing the God shot today. Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Tom. Hi, everyone. I'm Casey Carroll, and I am so excited to share with the Inspire community today and all of my friends and family who are here. It's overwhelming. Thank you for being here, all of you. So when I thought about this month's topic, which is spiritual practice as an act of self-love, I immediately thought about a time in my life that was really the catalyst for me understanding this idea. I was in my early 20s and I had lived in New York City for 1 year, and then 9/11 happened. And in that year, I was doing a lot of soul searching. I was reading Conversations with God, the Bible. I was learning about metaphysics and basically reading and doing all the things. And when 9/11 happened, all of a sudden, my soul search became absolutely meaningless. And at the same time, the most important thing in my life, because I didn't understand why I was alive when so many others weren't. People who died were parents, significant others, volunteers, people contributing to society. So from that moment on, I made my soul search my main priority. I was going to figure out who or what God was, and please insert whatever word works best for you. And I was going to begin to really live this life that I was given. So to find God, I kept reading and I asked everyone I knew questions about their journey and went to every house of worship that existed. But at the end of the day, being in church felt intellectual, and I wanted to stop thinking and I wanted to start experiencing. Because every time I've ever felt connected to God, it was an experience. So finally, I decided I was going to go straight to God. And I sat down on my bed and I told God that I wasn't going to move or talk until I got an answer. I wanted a sign as obvious as a burning bush to tell me where to put my energy and my devotion, because all I wanted was to be of service in this life. And so I got really comfortable because I thought I'd be there for a while. And I closed my eyes. And after about 2 seconds, I heard one sentence: treat yourself like God and you will see God. And I'll say that again. Treat yourself like God and you will see God. And at first I was just like, oh my God, I got an answer. What does that mean? And then I just felt this rush of relief to now know that God is not either or. God is both and all. And I could go to church or not. It didn't matter. But what I did need to do was be kind to myself, be in awe of myself, spend time on my knees with myself, nurture the curves and the nervous system of my body, and get to know my mind. And doing these things introduced me to this tenderness that I had never felt in my entire life, and I could finally see God in myself, in you, everyone, and everything around me. So it is my opinion and experience that self-love is the ultimate spiritual practice. And there is no other spiritual practice than the act of self-love. Mahatma Gandhi said, be the change you wish to see in the world. And I think this is exactly what he meant. And there's one more piece. So I learned in quarantine that I need to add something to the list of the things I do to treat myself like God so I can see God. I need to reveal myself to me like God did. And I need to reveal myself to others. And what's happening now is I'm with someone and I'm looking into their eyes, and I not only see that they are God, but I can see them looking back at me and experiencing that I am God too. And it is the most incredible feeling. So I ask you, what comes up on your list of things that you would do to treat yourself like God so you could see God? And is there one thing that you could start doing today? Thank you for allowing me to reveal myself to you today. I'm happy to answer any questions when we do open it up later. And now it is my pleasure to introduce the one and only, my muse, Reverend Alfreda Lanoix.
Wow, Casey, that was amazing. Give her, yay. Wow, absolutely love it. Thank you so much for sharing your insight, your truth, what really works for you. Because the thing about spiritual practice as an act of self love is having the courage. It takes courage. One must be brave enough to seek truth that will enhance your life. Spiritual practice as an act of self love. Spiritual practice is discipline. It is a regular performance of actions and activities that we do with the purpose, and Casey said this, of having spiritual experiences and spiritual development. And there is a difference when we have a spiritual experience. That's when we are connected and we're able to feel from within. I always say that our intuition, our GPS, our connection, our conversation with God is a inside job. It is a spiritual experience. And in order for us to begin to have that spiritual experience, we have to begin to have spiritual development. Now, what I mean by spiritual development, I want to share with you what some of the characteristics are of having spiritual development as an act of self love. Spiritual development characteristics are meaning. It allows you to begin to create the meaning of life. You know, we often ask the question, who am I? What is my purpose? Why am I here? What did I come to share? What did I come to bring? And if we are so caught up in our everyday lives, if we are living on automatic pilot, then we don't get the opportunity to stop, to begin to hear from God, to hear God from within, to really begin to know who I am and my meaning and what it is that I bring to life. If you don't know who you are, the world will tell you. If you don't know who you are, society will tell you how you should be, how you should live, how you should look. And so you will get caught up with all of this external and not really understanding your purpose, who you are, and what you came to bring. Spiritual practices will allow you to recognize and discover your meaning, your purpose, and why you are here. Spiritual development also allows you to know the value of who you are. See, the thing about the spiritual practices is that this is all about you. This is all about you creating what you need in order for you to live life abundantly. So it will allow you to know your value, that you are enough, that what you have within you is everything that you need in order for you to cultivate, to develop, to create the life that you choose to live. I say all the time, wherever you are is where you've chosen to be. Wherever you are, however you are living, is where you have chosen to be. That's how powerful you are. We don't want to take on, no, I wouldn't choose this, Reverend Frida. Well, unconsciously, you are choosing it because you create your own reality. Now, that doesn't mean that things won't happen because it's called life. This is life. Things are going to happen. But what it does mean is that you will develop self willpower in order to be able to face those things that occur in our lives. When you have spiritual practices, when you know how to begin to hold on or to let go. And so spiritual development, I also look at it as spiritual maturity will allow you to choose a little bit different. Another characteristic of it is you'll be able to have a connection with source, a connection with the abundance of life. You'll realize that wherever you are, that this is not that this is not the all in all, but that the source never runs dry. If you have the courage to really stop and examine your life, look at the times that you were at crossroads. Look at the times when you thought that you were not going to make it, where you're here right now. So that should signify to you that not only did I make it, but that the source that is never dry did not disconnect itself from me. Spiritual practices allows you to get outside of yourself and connect to that source that will carry you because it is always there. And it always says yes, yes to your will and yes to your way. Spiritual development is your becoming. It is your becoming. But in the meantime, I can accept who I am right now today. Whew. The beauty of spiritual practices as an act of self-love, it allows you to connect to gratitude, to realize, to discover you always have something to be grateful for. And those difficult situations that you thought that you were not going to make it through, those are the situations that gratitude is the most, because what you get from that is priceless. My greatest obstacle, my greatest pain became my greatest insight. So spiritual practices as self-care allows you to know this too shall pass. It allows you to know, what am I going to get from this experience that's going to be in my foundation that I can begin to build on and stand on those things that are important to me. Spiritual maturity, only if you have a teachable spirit. You know, some of us, you can't tell nothing. I often say, when you know that you know that you know that you don't know, is when you open. Spiritual development, spiritual practices allow you to know that you don't know everything, and you don't have to know everything. Now, that's priceless by itself, because you can begin to take the weight of the world. If you don't know a thing, it's okay, because it allows you to be open to receive the answer. Spiritual practices, its purpose is to overcome how you think about yourself and recognize what makes you you. Wow. Can I say that again? Its purpose is to overcome how you think about yourself and recognize what makes you you. It will answer the who am I? Because we've been so shaped. We've been in environments that have told us that being gay is wrong, that being Black is wrong, that being a female is wrong. But who am I authentically, without the opinions of other people? Because when you discover you are enough, when you discover that you are spirit, and spirit is so much bigger than whatever it is that you're going through, when you discover that you are more than your stories, we all have a story. We all have a once upon a time. We all have environments that were toxic. We all have brokenness. You know, sometimes we want to play the blame game. You know, for years I lived like, oh, I could be if my mother would not have. But I had to realize that she was doing her best. She in her own brokenness. But now with my spiritual practices, I'm able to take that off of her and to understand and accept her for who she is, and to realize she's done her best. And also, it allows me to realize and take it off of me and understand that I too have done my best. It's not about what you are doing. Spiritual practices says, who are you being while you're doing? I fed the hungry, but what was my energy like? Was I welcoming? Was I kind? Was I nice? Who was I being? Was I being kind while I was doing? Because the doing has nothing to do with the being. Spiritual practices as an act of love, it makes us realize that what you believe about yourself is true. If you believe that you're not enough, you're not enough. If you believe that you lack in love, then you lack in love and you attract what you believe. Whew, okay. The importance of creating a ritual that works to support your life where it is. Listen, I believe that it all works. I looked at this past week, I looked at this documentary called The Black Church. And what I got from that documentary was that it all works. It just has to do with where you are at that particular time. My grandmother called the name of Jesus. My mother called on the name of Jesus. My son calls on Allah. My daughter is atheist. It all works. The key to it is when it doesn't work for you anymore, as you evolve, spiritually mature, as you grow, as you have different experiences, and you begin to see life a little bit different, are you brave enough? Most of us are still living off of the things that our mothers taught us, or things that we got from church that no longer works. Work it if it works. Work it if it brings you peace of mind. Work it if it holds you during the difficult times. But if it no longer works, spiritual practices will allow you to create what will work for you, what will rejuvenate your spirit, what will make you come alive, what will allow you to know that even me at 65 is still an adventure. Life is still exciting. I still got so much to give, so much to share, so much to be. Because my spiritual practices serve me. And if your spiritual practices no longer serve you, we're not saying they're right or wrong. We're just saying if they don't serve you, have the courage, be brave enough to seek the truth that will work for you. Whether it's chanting, whether it's praying, whether it's meditating, whether it's burning scents. I love to burn my scents. I don't know if there's power in the scents, but I know that the scents, when I burn them, they put me in a space emotionally, mentally, and they open me up spiritually. They trigger something inside of me to say, this is the time, Frida, to open up. This is the time to let go of those 92,000 thoughts that we have every single day. This is the time to just rejuvenate your spirit. This is the time for that. It all works. The courage is having to choose what will support you where you are in your experience with life today. Its purpose is to be able to give us hope and relief for the opportunity to see the light at the end of the tunnel. It gives us hope. Without our spiritual experiences, without having somewhere to go in the meantime, because I tell you, life is going to show up. When I looked at the documentary of the Black church, what I got from it was it gave a hopeless people hope to say that no, we might not be treated the way that we should be treated because we too belong here. But in the meantime, here's some hope so that you can see the light at the end of the tunnel. Its purpose is not to give you the answer, but to prepare you for the answer so that you can be ready for the truth, so that it can support you where you are. Its purpose is to open you up to the possibilities Its purpose is to let you know you belong. This world is your world too. The wind that blows on you too. The ocean is your ocean too. Society might say you don't belong. Society might say because of the color of your skin, because you're gay, because you are this, because you are that. Spiritual practices, self-care is to recognize and remind you you belong. Its purpose is to help you live in harmony. It's to bring balance in your lives. Like I say all the time, we're on automatic pilot. We get up, we go. The greatest enslavement that could be put upon any people is being or having to go to somebody else's job to do something that you don't want to do, to have to pay for earth, for wind, for water that belongs to us all. Spiritual practices allows you to bring in that balance and say, I might be doing something that I don't want to do. So this gives me, in the meantime, to recognize that this is not forever and that there are other opportunities out there. So in the meantime, I might have to do this, but this is not permanent. And because I can settle that, this is a for now thing. It allows me now to really go within and find out what it is that gives me my purpose, that gives me my passion, that allows me to create the reality that's good for me. Spiritual practices, its purpose is to hold us in the darkness of life. Life will be dark at times. Things will happen. I say this all the time. You can meditate, you can burn candles, you can face the east, you can face the west, but in the meantime, life is going to show up. But in that darkness, it is your spiritual practice. It is your self-care because you prepared yourself, because you nurtured yourself, because you held yourself, because you reminded yourself. The spiritual practice will hold you, cover you, carry you, even when you don't know what's around the next corner. It will allow you to live in what I call the I don't know, but not exist in the I don't know, but to live in the I don't know. Because when you can live in the I don't know, you can be open. And when you open, you don't know what doors are opening. You don't know who's calling your name. You don't know, but you're ready. Its purpose is not to make us free, but it is to give us freedom. Moments of joy, and it can break the chains of hate. Its purpose is to remind us that this too shall pass, and I can live in the now. Our anxiety comes from anticipating what might happen. Our anxiety comes from trying to control things that we have no control over. But when I find myself feeling that weight of anxiety and depression, I ask myself the question, how am I right now? How do I feel right now? Do I need anything in the now to be who I am? Is everything I need right here, right now? And when I can honestly say yes, I have that spiritual experience of knowing that all is well. See, all is well with the soul because the soul knows its purpose. It knows why we are here and what we came here to do. My spirit may be broken. Emotionally, I might be disturbed. Physically, I could be tired. But the soul is not caught up with any of those external things, because the soul knows if I don't get it this lifetime, that life is eternal. Be intentional in our self practices, because it is the greatest act of love we can give ourselves. Be intentional. Don't squeeze it in. Don't be in such of a hurry. Don't make everybody else more important than you. Don't make the job more important or the relationship more important, because if you don't give to yourself, you have nothing to give. You are giving on borrowed energy. And when you give on borrowed energy, you give out. Be intentional with your self-care, with your love care, because it is the greatest, do you understand me? It is the greatest act of all of these faith, hope. Love is the greatest. Giving yourself a break, letting yourself know all is well, reflection on where you've come from fear. Self-care is the process of taking care, maintaining balance for our spirit. So on today, we can't tell you what to do. We can't tell you what spiritual practices will work for you. That's your job. That's your job, to set aside the time. Casey said she read many books. You read and you recognize what connects with you. See, that's why you have to realize it is a spiritual experience. You don't know the answer. I don't know the answer. But when you have that spiritual connection and experience, you know how it makes you feel. And when you trust what you feel, you are connected to the source. And it is a feeling that nothing else gives you. When I do my spiritual practices and I open up to the possibilities, the feeling that I get of contentment, of joy, of peace that is beyond my own understanding. It is your responsibility to create a spiritual practice that will feed your spirit, that will renew your spirit, that will remind you just how amazingly wonderful you are. You have to not depend on a church, a Buddha, or anything outside of you to be more powerful than what it is you feel within. You are powerful. Your spiritual practices will allow you to recognize how powerful you are. God bless you. Thank you.